Hello, this is day 4 of my videos, doing a daily check-in for 40 days and totally unedited from start to finish, 5-10 minutes, doing them every day. It's getting quite close to 12, so I'm a little bit tired, as you might be able to see from my position, lounging on the couch. Oh, excuse me, unedited. Today I had quite a good work day, but the big thing for me that I did today was I went to see Jay Shetty at the Opera House. Jay is a very well-known podcaster, YouTuber, talks a lot about purpose and love, and he's just released a book about love. And he is currently in the middle of a world tour, of which Sydney, Australia is part of that tour. So I booked something like 5 months ago, was really excited to be able to go. I'm very fortunate that I had the opportunity to go. And I've come away from it thinking a couple of things. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with Jay and his content. Comes across as very genuine, very considered, and my opinion of him has actually changed after today. I enjoyed the show. It was close to 3 hours long, including, 20-minute interval. So it was good value, I would say. It was very interactive, had people come up, and some of the key lessons, I guess, he addressed were things like take time for yourself in terms of actually understanding what you want. It was a focus on, when it comes to relationships and dating, value yourself. And, there's 3 other categories other than chemistry that people really don't look at as much as chemistry, and some other things. A lot of the content he talked about was not different to his free assets. So I was sort of familiar with his thought process a lot, and he did talk about one example or one story which I have seen on his social media assets before, which is about a little girl going with a diamond to 3 different people, and each of them are going to value that diamond differently. And it's obviously saying everyone's going to value you differently, and the value of the diamond doesn't actually change depending on what they say. It's what you think it is. So don't, value yourself above what other people think of you. But there was one part in his presentation which I did not agree with. And, up until this moment, I was, I had a little bit of tear in my eye, I was feeling the feels and thinking the things and all that jazz. But there was one part where he asked people, who they would love to say I love you to, or nice words of affirmation. And they haven't done that recently or ever. And one guy stood up and said, you know, he really wants to say I love you to his father. They've never done that. The father's never said it to him. Like, it was very genuine, was vulnerable. It was lovely to hear. And then Jay asked him to call his father in front of 2,000 people. And this is where my opinion of Jay has shifted a little bit. Now, each their own. Some people were like, oh, that's amazing. I actually found it really distasteful. The father didn't pick up. The guy did say he doesn't have voicemail and that, you know, he was probably in bed. But if Jay Shetty asks you to do something, you're probably going to do it, whether it is the right thing for you or not. And it was on the spot. It was in front of 2,000 people. And I just felt that for something so vulnerable and so significant in this person's life, it was pure entertainment for 2,000 people. And I actually thought it was really distasteful. I thought it was distasteful. I thought it was inappropriate. As the father didn't pick up, Jay asked this guy, Scott, to record a voice memo and send it to his father. And so, in front of everyone, Scott, the audience participant, recorded a voicemail telling his father that he loved him, the roadblocks as to why he's never said it before. And I understand what Jay was trying to convey. I do think it's really important that people express to their loved ones how they feel. I do believe in vulnerability. But this sat really poorly with me, and I've been thinking about it for probably about an hour and a half now. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Which is a real shame because, as I said, I think the rest of the show was quite good. It was, as I said, a lot of the content was very similar to his online, but, you know, I like what he says. I like his perspectives on things, but I don't know. I just found it really off. It does not sit well with me. I think it's someone's most vulnerable moment, and I feel like he's turned it into 2,000 people entertainment and footage for his show because it was all being recorded. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I guess that's the whole point of checking in for 5 or 10 minutes every day to sort of go through what's happened in the day and how I'm thinking about it. Who knows, I might have different opinion on it tomorrow. So that was the big thing that happened to me today. I also caught the ferry in, which was so beautiful. I don't live too far from the city, and I'm very fortunate where I'm not too far from a ferry. And I was like, I'm going to walk down to the ferry and catch a ferry in, and the weather was cool. It was beautiful. And, you know, I think it's something that I can be very grateful for. I would be keen to know what you've done today that you're grateful for. But yeah, for me, I think it was the opportunity to sit on the ferry and, you know, be on the water for 10 minutes. Very lucky. Tomorrow is Anzac Day in Australia, which I believe is the most important day Sorry about how much the camera's moving. I believe is Australia's most important day. I'm not religious, and I think this is, regardless of what you think of war, regardless of politics, I think people who have sacrificed their lives for their country deserve all the respect. I was going to go off to a dawn service, but my car is locked in my garage and I can't get into it at the moment. Not ideal. But I will probably stand on my balcony and have some time to consider the sacrifices others have made for the freedoms that we have today. So I am, living in Australia is such a beautiful place to be. If you haven't been, please come out and visit. It is physically a beautiful place, but also we have a wonderful lifestyle which needs to be respected and people feel grateful for. So I will take time tomorrow to give my thanks to those who have served, to families of those who have served and fallen. So that will be, I'll take off my makeup and I'll have a fairly early night. But a very quick note before I take my makeup off and before I leave you for tomorrow, I am loving the Summer Fridays tint. So I've worn it the last 3 or 4 days and I put this on, 6 or 7 hours ago. It just takes out a little bit of the redness in my face, and then I've just put a really light dose of bronzer and blush on, the Chanel bronzer, which is my favourite, and some Chanel blush, the liquid blush, and a little bit of mascara, and it's like, wham bam, thank you ma'am, told you I was into the very easy options. But I am super happy with it. So I will link it below. So if you're interested, you can give it a whirl. But thanks for listening in again. See you tomorrow.